A howl tears through the wind as the wolf pack surges forward like a sharp streak across the snow. They do not prevail through a single snap, but through disciplined formation, precise as a hunting machine. The pursuit tightens beat by beat, as steady pressure gradually drains the target's momentum. Each close approach narrows the options, sealing escape routes as the ring closes in. So what makes the wolf an apex force in this wilderness? The gray wolf is the embodiment of hunting discipline, ranging from icy Alaska to the snow-covered valleys of Wyoming. At around 110 pounds, its body is built for endurance, cold tolerance, and survival in temperatures below -40 degrees Fahrenheit. But the key advantage does not belong to the individual. It comes from how the entire pack functions like a precise system. Each wolf holds the right position, taking turns applying pressure until the prey is fully worn down. In the natural world, wolves stand at the top of the food chain, helping keep ecosystems in balance. In North America, elk stand as a symbol of untamed vitality among the largest deer species on the planet. A fully grown male weighs around 700 pounds, stands nearly 5 feet tall at the shoulder, and carries a broad, multi-tined rack that can extend up to 4 feet. During the breeding season, those antlers do more than signal status. They also form a powerful line of defense that causes most predators to hesitate. But when winter settles over forests and mountains, the balance of survival begins to shift. Deep snow, slick terrain, and severe cold gradually transfer the advantage to wolves. They do not rush into an attack. Instead, they follow elk herds over long distances, applying steady pressure through short advances designed to read reactions. Once an individual becomes separated from the group, the wolves guide it toward an icy river, where narrow space limits movement and forces the elk to rely entirely on its antlers for defense. Here, the predators wait as time and exhaustion do the rest. After roughly 10 minutes standing in freezing water, the elk loses strength, and the wolves secure their reward with minimal effort. For a pack of around 10 individuals, bringing down an elk provides enough food to sustain the group for many days. It is a substantial reward, but one that carries real risk. In the natural world, survival favors not those who rush forward, but those who wait for the right moment. On the Arctic tundra, the confrontation between wolves and a musk ox, weighing around 900 pounds, becomes a breath-holding psychological contest. When the wolf pack appears, the musk oxen do not flee. Guided by instincts shaped since prehistoric times, they immediately cluster together, forming a solid defensive circle with calves protected at the center. A barrier of sharp horns facing outward creates a living fortress that no wolf dares to challenge directly. As a result, the wolves' primary tools are not speed, but patience and the ability to generate fear. They move in wide circles, vocalizing loudly and making short, feinting lunges designed to provoke confusion within the formation. If even one individual panics and breaks position, order begins to fracture, and the fortress starts to lose its strength. In that precise moment, the wolves increase pressure, divide space, and isolate the most vulnerable target from the protective ring. Here, wolves do not overcome their opponent through force, but through time, turning fear into error. In the far northern Arctic, when temperatures reach -40 degrees Fahrenheit, hunger is silent, yet strong enough to push every step farther. For wolves, the tundra is not a battlefield, but a continuous survival equation. When hunts for large hoofed animals fail or opportunities disappear, they are forced to shift toward smaller, faster prey. The Arctic hare, weighing around 5 pounds, becomes a viable option to maintain energy. To locate a target nearly invisible against the snow, wolves rely primarily on their sense of smell. They follow scent trails left in the wind and across the frozen surface, able to determine direction from distances of up to 1.5 miles. Once detected, the Arctic hare accelerates to nearly 40 miles per hour, constantly changing direction in sharp zigzags to break pursuit. Wolves recognize that this is not a test of endurance, but a contest of strategy across open ground. They separate positions, block escape paths, and guide the hare into a narrow trajectory where timing decides the outcome. With a bite force reaching roughly 1,200 pounds per square inch, a precise strike brings the chase to a swift conclusion. Here, survival itself is the victory. Every small hunt sharpens reflexes and forges the discipline that shapes the next generation. Caribou are among the most enduring athletes of the Arctic, recognized for record-breaking migrations of up to 3,000 miles each year. A fully grown male can weigh as much as 700 pounds, carrying massive antlers spanning more than 3 feet, along with a superior double-layer coat that allows survival in extreme environments. Most notably, their wide, splayed hooves, measuring about 4 inches across, function like natural snowshoes, helping sustain running speeds of up to 50 miles per hour across hazardous icy terrain. but every mile traveled comes with a heavy physical cost. As fatigue sets in, younger or weaker individuals begin to fall behind, unintentionally revealing their position to the watchful eyes of nearby wolves. For a predator, pursuing caribou is a high-risk energy gamble, leaving no room for mistakes. Using terrain that breaks up the migration route, the wolves do not rush in blindly. They move along the edges of the herd, creating disruption and weakening the tight unity that normally serves as the caribou's strongest protection. The moment one individual becomes isolated, the formation closes in. Through precise positioning and careful avoidance of powerful rear kicks, the wolves bring the encounter to a decisive end. The result provides the vital resources needed for the entire pack to survive and raise the next generation across the unforgiving tundra. Bison stand as the giants that dominate the grasslands of North America. A fully grown adult can weigh up to 2,000 pounds, with massive muscles, lowering its head each day to use its neck and shoulders to sweep away deep snow and expose patches of dry grass beneath. Despite their enormous size, bison can still reach speeds of around 40 miles per hour over short distances. Their strength, sheer mass, and strong herd structure leave them with few natural threats once fully grown. But winter becomes a relentless ally to wolves. As fat reserves in bison gradually decline, the wolf pack adopts a wide, arcing formation. The ground trembles beneath thousands of hooves, while snowstorms blur vision and space. Within this confusion, wolves focus on individuals that begin to lag behind, taking turns applying pressure from the rear to drain stamina without confronting the roughly 12-inch horns or powerful hind kicks directly. The pursuit can stretch across miles, forcing the prey to face the unforgiving rules of survival shaped by nature. At times, the bison's own unity can work against it. An adult may surge forward like a living barrier, pushing a calf back toward the center of the herd. At high speed, that well-intended contact can cause the younger animal to lose balance. The wolves wait for that single moment. Though harsh, this process removes weaker individuals and helps prevent overgrazing of the plains. It remains an essential part of maintaining ecological balance across the open grasslands. Within the dense forest, the wolf pack moves silently like gray shadows, every step taken with purpose. Their target is not weak. It is a fully grown wild boar, often described as the tank of the woodland. Most striking is the boar's low defensive posture, head held down, with curved tusks extending more than 4 inches. These natural tools discourage predators and provide protection when danger closes in. The wolves understand their limits. A direct rush would risk serious injury and could end future hunting ability altogether. Instead, they surround the boar and test its responses. Younger individuals apply pressure from the front, forcing the boar to turn and pivot, while experienced wolves remain behind, carefully assessing distance and risk. After several tense minutes, when the boar continues to hold firm ground, the lead wolf signals withdrawal. In the natural world, survival always outweighs victory. Sometimes, the wisest decision is to end a hunt early, before the cost becomes too high. The grizzly charges into the hunt like a storm, turning an encounter into a decision that needs no announcement. Muscle surges beneath a thick coat, and powerful claws and jaws lock the outcome in place. When facing other predators, it does not retreat. Only a final, decisive blow follows. In the deep forest, where rules are shaped by strength and instinct, the grizzly does not merely hunt, it determines who gets to endure. From midsummer to early fall, Alaska's rivers enter their most active stretch of the year. Salmon leave the ocean and travel hundreds of miles upstream to return to their spawning grounds. For the grizzly, this is a defining window before winter dormancy. Their bodies shift into a state of hyperphagia, eating almost continuously to store energy for the long, cold months. At waterfalls and narrow river channels, where the current forces fish to launch out of the water, grizzlies hold key positions. An adult can stand nearly motionless for hours, focused on every small change in the flow. One precisely timed approach is enough to secure a fish weighing a few pounds, a rhythm repeated across many seasons of survival. As the season moves toward its end, the water slows and the salmon weaken. Grizzlies adjust their strategy, leaving higher falls for lower stretches of river, where feeding demands less effort while remaining highly effective. Under favorable conditions, they can consume dozens in a single day, quickly turning protein and fat into winter reserves. Among what they seek, salmon eggs, dense with energy, are often prioritized. The rest is not wasted, instead supporting scavenging birds, small animals, and gradually enriching the soil along the stream banks. Here, each act of survival does not serve only one animal, but also helps sustain the quiet balance of the entire ecosystem. Elk are a symbol of endurance and speed in the northern mountain forests. An adult male carries a massive frame with antlers that can span nearly 4 feet, used for defense and for establishing rank. For a grizzly, an elk is not an easy objective. It is a rival that forces the predator to calculate timing and terrain with care. When an elk is pressed toward a water's edge or low, marshy ground, the balance begins to shift. In cold water, long legs that move so well on steep slopes become less efficient, while the grizzly can lean on body weight and stability. On other terrain, the grizzly looks for an approach from behind, relying on surprise and the power of a jaw with an estimated bite force that can exceed 1,000 psi. The elk answers with sharp turns and short bursts of speed, pulling the encounter into a tense sequence of back and forth pressure, where neither side gains an easy advantage. When the pursuit ends and the grizzly gains the reward, the energy, up to about 100,000 calories, can be converted into fat reserves for leaner periods ahead. The remainder continues to support birds, insects, and the surrounding forest soil. In that cycle, there is no absolute winner, only the movement of energy that keeps the mountain ecosystem in balance. Caribou are a symbol of migration and endurance in the north. Compared with elk and moose, their bodies are more compact, and their long legs help maintain a steady pace across snow and ice, especially during harsh transitional seasons when conditions keep shifting. The grizzly is an opportunistic predator. While much of its diet comes from vegetation, in spring and fall, caribou become an important source of energy. Despite its heavy build, a grizzly can reach speeds of about 35 miles per hour in short bursts. Rather than pursuing an entire herd, it uses terrain and targets calves, older individuals, or those separated from the group. The most vulnerable lynx. A keen sense of smell helps the bear detect a calf hidden in tall grass or low-lying ground. When caribou are pushed into deep snow, mud, or along a water's edge, their speed advantage fades quickly, and the balance of survival begins to tilt toward the one that has been waiting. The grizzly bear is one of the largest land mammals in North America. An adult male can weigh around 1,200 pounds and, when standing upright, can reach over 8 feet tall. Despite that strength, they spend most of their time alone, avoiding unnecessary conflict. But in the wild, encounters are sometimes unavoidable, not out of aggression, but out of survival. At salmon runs and other high-energy feeding areas, invisible boundaries form quickly. A bear can consume more than 30 pounds of fish per day to maintain its condition. Larger, more experienced individuals often take the central positions, forcing late arrivals to weigh the risk. Most disputes are settled through posture, movement, and an overwhelming presence. When the advantage disappears, the weaker bear backs away, leaving space to the one holding control. In rare cases, conflict is tied to reproduction. An adult male may enter the range of a mother raising cubs that are not his. This is not random behavior, but an evolutionary strategy that can trigger a new breeding cycle. That pressure makes the mother extremely vigilant, often moving her cubs for miles through dense forest to avoid a direct encounter and seek safety. Pressure rises sharply when food becomes scarce. In late summer, or in years when salmon numbers drop, bears must build hundreds of pounds of fat for the long winter. Less dominant individuals are more likely to be pushed away from critical food sources. Encounters then stay brief and decisive, often ending as soon as access is lost. Across the wide grasslands and forest edges of North America, the gray wolf stands as a symbol of coordinated strategy. Each pack often includes around 10 individuals, working closely to track and manage prey larger than any single wolf could handle alone. Yet even when a meal seems secured, that order can be tested by an outsider that needs no allies to apply pressure. From the tree line, a grizzly appears, quiet yet heavy with authority. Its presence alone reshapes the wolves' formation. The pack spreads out, moves continuously, and keeps a safe distance while never taking its eyes off the rival. The reward is still in front of them, but the risk is now unmistakable. The standoff unfolds without a sound. A few wolves move forward in a wide arc, probing for a reaction. The bear only has to pivot its body and rise to its full height. An unmistakable statement of overwhelming strength without needing to act. There is no drawn-out chase, only a brief moment of calculation, where both sides recognize their limits. The wolf pack chooses to step back, not as a defeat, but because survival favors clear judgment. In the wild, confrontation is not about erasing an opponent, but about preserving a fragile balance between strength and intelligence. In the dense forests and cold wetlands of Alaska, moose are among the toughest challenges for a grizzly. Standing over 6 feet at the shoulder, weighing more than 1,400 pounds, and carrying broad antlers like a moving shield, every approach forces the predator to calculate with care. A grizzly rarely drives straight in. It keeps distance, watching the rhythm of movement and the other animal's reactions. With a calf or an individual that has separated from the group, the bear gradually pressures it toward the water's edge or into marshy ground, where escape routes narrow and each step becomes heavier. In those moments, the terrain becomes an ally, allowing the grizzly to control the situation without spending excessive energy. Against a full-grown moose, the encounter stays brief but intense. The moose is ready to stop, lower its center of gravity, and deliver a warning strike, forcing the bear to ease back and reassess the risk. Wolves are dominant predators, and also an invisible force that helps keep the forests and tundra in rhythm. Every pursuit becomes a test of endurance, intelligence, and coordination, where impatience always carries a cost. But the moment another challenger appears, the balance can shift, and the rules can turn in a heartbeat. If you want to continue following this documentary series, press like to show support. Subscribe so you do not miss the next chapter when the wild speaks again.